I am normally the type of person to consider every day a blessing, but I'm not going to lie, I was really glad when last week was over. High-profile celebrities seem to get picked off at an elevated rate. First, it was Kate Spade. Then, in the same day, news came that famed and acclaimed chef Anthony Bourdain had committed suicide as well. And on top of that, we learned that Charles Krauthammer is likely nearing the end of his fight with cancer. It was a depressing week, but maybe I shouldn't use that term so loosely. It was a disheartening week. And it brings the topic of depression and suicide to the forefront of conversation. Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain, these two, by all public accounts, they had it all. They had fame, fortune, friends, family, fun lives. Those of us on the outside knew nothing of their personal and psychological struggles. But that's how it is, right? Celebrities live these lives. We put them on these pedestals, not realizing that they very often struggle with the same problems as we do. Because after all, at the end of the day, at some point, we all will take a final breath, and death has a way of grounding the survivors. And I think it's time that we take a long, hard look at the things that are causing our suicide rate to spike. Suicide claims the lives of 30,000 people a year in America. That's 82 people a day. Our national suicide rate is 25% higher than it was in 1999. And 1 in 6 adults in the U.S. take psychiatric drugs such as antidepressants and sedatives. So what gives? Why on earth is this happening? Mental health certainly has a great deal to do with it, but it's also cultural factors. Western culture glorifies fame and fortune. Social media exploits and very often distorts those things, not just for celebrities. We always, all of us, we put our best face forward on social media. We only show the happy times. And even though we know that we ourselves are doing that same thing, putting our best face forward, it seems like everyone else is truly actually living a better life than we are. There's a cognitive dissonance between what we know to be true and what we feel and what's affecting our mental state. As reported by the National Alliance on Mental Illness, numerous studies have been conducted and articles written linking social networking to depression and social isolation, eliciting feelings of envy, insecurity, and poor self-esteem. Kirsten Powers wrote a powerful op-ed this week for USA Today, and I encourage you to read the full article, but she describes her own personal struggles and what she feels were the contributing factors to her depression. The termination of a recent romantic relationship, her mother's ongoing struggle with breast cancer, and her father's sudden death from a massive heart attack. She talks about being on various psychiatric medications throughout her life to cope with depression and anxiety. So among the causes of depression, she also cites an imperfect system for prescribing psychiatric drugs as a major problem. Because all of us are created so intricately different, there is virtually no way to tell with 100% certainty how a certain psychiatric drug is going to affect the patient. That's why so many psychologists and psychiatrists and therapists resort to a trial and error method. The biggest and most destructive byproduct of this method is the severe side effects and often heightened anxiety and depression that results from the wrong drug or wrong dosage. Aside from social media, but kind of a byproduct of it, is the lack of human connection in our day-to-day lives. We've moved away from picking up the phone and calling an old friend or a cousin or an aunt or uncle or brother or sister. We see a status update on Facebook and we kind of subconsciously consider that a check-in. We know what's going on with them from social media. We just saw them post a picture from their baby shower or a holiday party, so we don't really need to talk, right? Wrong. Humans are not programmed, and we aren't meant to be lone wolves. We require safe surroundings and stable and strong relationships for mental well-being. Don't believe me? Brandon Keem for Wired.com did a study on the effects of solitary confinement and lack of social stimuli and says this: consistent patterns emerge centering around the aforementioned extreme anxiety, anger, hallucinations, mood swings and flatness, and loss of impulse control. In the absence of stimuli, prisoners may also become hypersensitive to any stimuli at all. Often they obsess uncontrollably as if their minds didn't belong to them over tiny details or personal grievances. Panic attacks are routine, as in depression and loss of memory and cognitive function. Now, of course, this is an extreme case. This was a federal prisoner in solitary confinement, but you can't discount the fact that these issues, maybe to a lesser degree, manifest themselves in all of us as a result of no human connection. So I have a proposal. It's a big one, but I think that it's worth trying. I know it's nearly impossible to ask you to get off of social media. I know that's unreasonable for me to ask you to do that because of my work. I can't even do that myself. But maybe we should start thinking about unfriending on social media the people whose friendships and relationships we value the most. That way we aren't tempted to fall into complacency and fall victim to the trap of being satisfied with simply seeing their social media updates. If we aren't friends with them on Facebook or social media, that forces us to reach out in a more personal and meaningful way. It forces us to connect over the phone or even text, but I suggest phone. So, starting right after this video, call someone and, I don't know, maybe let me know in the comments who you called. Today is Monday, so do it today and, I don't know, try it again on Friday. Start and end the week on a good note. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I'm Amanda, head for The Rebel. If you enjoyed my commentary and want to hear more from all of us here at The Rebel, subscribe to our premium content at www.therebel.media/shows. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter for all of our latest news, and download our new app for The Rebel Media on the App Store. That way you will have easy and immediate access to all of our latest videos and your favorite Rebel shows. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Amanda, head for The Rebel.